This is Mikey.
And I'm Garrison Rifen. This is Cinema Debrief. Welcome to Cinema Debrief. I'm Garrison Rifen, over here with my co-host Mikey. How are you doing tonight, Mikey?
What is up, Garrison? I got myself in a little trouble on Friday night. I thought that the screening of Michael that I was going to was a sing-along version, and the people around me really did not appreciate my attempts at singing along to Michael Jackson's songs, and so I had to stop because I was afraid they were going to ask me to leave. So
you wanted to be starting something, right?
I did. It was just human nature. I mean, I couldn't control myself. I'm sorry.
Well, I got in theaters to see Michael. My crowd seemed to like it.
Oh man.
There were times where my crowd was also like, whenever Joe Jackson.
Oh yeah. No, there was a lot of that in my screening as well. I mean, I look, this has been, so I'm trying to just recall like the last very different type of movie, obviously, but the last time like a crowd was so interactive with the movie that I went to was the Minecraft movie.
Okay.
I went to a really crowded screening of that on opening weekend, sitting in between. I was by myself, so I was sitting in between these groups of older, like high schoolers, maybe college aged. I'm so bad at telling age, but they were really into this movie. Michael, everybody was very into this movie. It is a crowd pleaser, as they call it.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into it more for sure. But I mean, I don't know. It was a fun experience. I got to see it. My older daughter went with me, and my wife went with me, and so we just had a good time. My wife has I married into having the Thriller album because she was a huge Michael Jackson fan growing up, like as a kid. Like one of the funny stories that she told on the way home from the movie is that when Michael Jackson would come on screen, like at home or something, she would go up and like kiss the screen, and her mom would have to tell her to knock it off. So, I mean, she was like, look, huge Michael Jackson fan, which I think a lot of people our age are. I mean, it's just, he's just one of those people that his music touched a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So, I mean,
the track list on that album is incredible.
Oh yeah, Thriller.
Seriously,
you're right.
I mean, I've looked through it before and just gone, look, when I grew up, I think, and we can get into some of this more later on too.
Yeah.
For Michael specifically in fandom, Michael Jackson was not as big a deal when I kind of was a kid.
Yeah, that's true.
But you still got, I mean, when I was in 5th grade, I had a teacher play ABC from the Jackson 5.
Oh yeah.
I had a teacher playing Billie Jean when we would come into class. I mean, so you heard all those things, and culturally, Thriller music video was still a big deal.
100%.
Kids my age.
Yeah.
We learned about We Are the World in school in one of my like middle school years. They played that music video for us. Incredible music, an incredible period of time for him specifically. Those 3: Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad, which that movie gets into. But yeah, just looking specifically at the Thriller track list, I mean, there's a 3 track list segment where it goes something Thriller. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to search it real quick, but it's Thriller, Beat It, and Billie Jean, just back to back to back. I mean, that's
massive songs. Yeah.
That may be the craziest 3-song run on an album I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And just in terms of the cultural impact it's had. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from like a Disney standpoint, Captain EO was huge. I mean,
yeah, and that was Lucasfilm and Coppola too.
Yeah, and we need to talk about all this as we're talking about Michael.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's hard not to talk about how much of a cultural impact he had in a lot of different areas. I mean, the guy wanted to be Jar Jar Binks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was rumor. I mean, and I think it's more than rumor. I think it's been proven that he called George and was like, I want to be Jar Jar Binks. But George went another way, but because I'm sure Michael was a little expensive. But
yeah. But especially for a thing you're going to cover up with CGI.
Exactly.
Well, I had an off the shelf pick. I can say that correctly.
Yes, you did.
Of 1942's To Be or Not to Be. This is a
Mhm.
film that I bought a couple years ago because, first off, my dad really loves the Mel Brooks remake,
Mm.
uh, also called To Be or Not to Be.
So I
I have
found
not
it's hard to
seen.
find. I found out it's very difficult to find.
Is it okay?
Well, I'm sorry. It's expensive if you want a physical media copy of it. It's
The Brooks one.
expensive. Yeah, the Mel Brooks one, and it's only available on that Shout TV streaming service.
Okay.
Which I wasn't gonna, because I kind of wanted to watch it today. Also, like
Yeah.
I wanted to watch the original and watch the more recent one. Did not want to get a subscription for Shout TV though.
I never got as far as looking it up.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to as well, but we just got busy and
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
no, it
make
was a
time to do it really.
busy weekend. Yeah.
So, but I still at some point do want to watch that remake and kind of have just like a little thing and say, hey, I really liked it or I didn't.
You can get the DVD. Like there's a Blu-ray that it looks like it was in Mexico only. That's kind of expensive, but there is a DVD that you can find that was a US edition for fairly inexpensive in certain places.
Interestingly, it's a Mel Brooks starring movie. He doesn't direct or write it,
Yeah,
according to the credits. I wouldn't be surprised if he did help with.
Oh, I'm sure.
Aspects.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But yeah, this film is directed by Ernst Lubitsch,
Mm-hmm.
who's done back in the day, he did some bigger films, but probably his biggest is Shop Around the Corner, which got remade as well into You've Got Mail. He was nominated for 3 or 4 Academy Awards as a director, I think, last I checked. And this is a screwball comedy. Now, if you know anything about me, I am a massive sucker for screwball comedies.
Yeah.
Arsenic and Old Lace, Baby. What's the Baby movie with Cary Grant?
Bringing Up Baby.
Yeah. Bringing Up Baby. I love those, and those both have Cary Grant. So I guess I love Cary Grant screwball comedies, but I also really enjoyed my time with this one.
Yeah.
This is a satire drama period piece now for us because it's so far back, but it was only a couple years removed from the events of the movie. At that point, it's mid World War II.
Which I found that interesting. Like I was trying to think of movies around that time that would have been similar to this that were already spoofing Hitler in this way. That's interesting. It's interesting.
Great question. Now, I mean, The Great Dictator.
Yeah.
Which spoofed Hitler, came out in 1940.
Okay. So it was a year, a couple of years before this.
Yeah. And then you've got several films that it fascinates me because there are several films like Foreign Correspondent from Hitchcock, which kind of touch on the beginning of the war. And that came out in 1940. So there's a lot of these movies that were made during the war where they don't know how this is going to resolve yet.
Right.
And almost some of them are creating their own endings for this, as this one kind of does.
And that was like a major plot point in this. Like they were making fun of Hitler on stage, and then all of a sudden the war breaks out.
Yeah, I like the beginning of the movie because as someone who nowadays you should know, I mean, if you took any basic history course, that Hitler invaded Poland.
Yes.
So when the movie opens and Hitler is in the middle of the streets in Poland, I was intrigued because I was like, oh my goodness, is this like actually Hitler? It turns out we cut back a little bit and it's actually an actor going out on the streets. Dressed up like Hitler because they're about to do a stage play making fun of Hitler, essentially. And I really enjoyed some of the gags in this film. One of my favorites, though, one that they set up early on in the film is so they call me concentration camp Earnhardt.
Right, exactly.
There's a setup scene in this movie where a person is pretending to be a Nazi officer, Earnhardt, and he doesn't really know what to say other than being told that he's been called concentration camp.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be stalling.
He's also, I think, so shocked by that statement that he just kind of starts laughing. And doesn't really know what else to say. And my favorite bit is when it becomes much funnier when they get to the actual officer Earnhardt, and the actor guy is interacting with him,
Yeah.
and he brings up that same thing, and Earnhardt continues to do the exact same gag that the actor was doing, but he's not stalling for time. It's just something he found amusing.
Yeah, he loved it. Like the actual Earnhardt was like, "Oh, that's great. That's exactly what I want to be called." Yeah, no, that was good.
There's a couple of those like that throughout the movie that really got me going.
I think my favorite sight gag of it is the whole beard thing.
Yes, that was masterfully done.
It was really well done, and yeah, I mean, because there were so many layers to it, and I guess we can spoil a film from 1942. Although there's probably the problem with spoiling a film this old is there's probably a lot of people who haven't seen it, but I mean, it is really available because it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And has been on there for a while, I think, because it's part of the Criterion Collection, and they have that kind of side agreement with HBO Max where some of their films will play on there, even though they have their own channel or whatever.
Yeah.
Or own streaming service, I should say. But when he sees the straight razor, so he goes into the back room and takes him a minute to notice that the corpse of the doctor is actually there.
Yeah, the doctor that he's impersonating.
The doctor that he's impersonating, exactly. So he sees the straight razor and just ingeniously comes up with this thing because he's got an extra beard with him too. There was a long setup. There was a setup with that. Yeah.
Previous scene where they give someone's been told that they gave him an extra beard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so he shaves the dead doctor, puts the fake beard on the dead doctor, then proceeds to just manipulate, I guess, Lubitsch into thinking that he's the fake one, but he's like, wait a minute, you should try and pull the beard off of the one that you think's the real one, and the beard comes off, and so then there's this whole that's the first part of the gag. The second part of the gag is all of his buddies come in dressed as Nazis.
Yes.
And make Lubitsch feel like even like a worse Nazi officer by pulling the beard off of their friend and ushering him out. And it's just, I love all of that setup. I gave the movie, I ended up giving the movie 3 stars. Now, I've only seen it one time, obviously. Maybe I need to watch it again, and maybe it would be a little bit higher for me. But as Letterboxd themselves once posted on X, 3 stars is good. And I think it's a good movie. I didn't mean to offend Jeremy with my review, which my review wasn't even really a review. It was just a fact that Robert Stack always plays the straight man. That's what my Letterboxd statement was. And apparently that offended Jeremy. I didn't mean to offend Jeremy about that. I wasn't trying to offend him, but like in Airplane, Robert Stack's the straight guy. I mean, he's always the straight guy. I mean, there's nothing. But anyways, I wasn't even really reviewing the film. I was just saying that. But,
the top 3 of the cast are Carol Lombard, Jack Benny, and Robert Stack. Jack Benny plays the husband of Carol Lombard's character. They're both actors in the Polish theater, and Robert Stack plays a lieutenant character who has Polish ancestry, but he's a part of the British Air Force. And so there becomes this spy plot in the film where the lieutenant has this meeting with a guy who's about to go over to Poland, and he reveals to him these like group of Polish people his secret plan, and that throws the lieutenant off because he first off, he's revealing and divulging the secret information, but second off, when he mentions this Maria actress that he has fallen in love with and potentially having an affair with on the side, the guy doesn't know this very famous Polish actress, and he goes to his superiors and he's like, something's up with this. This is fishy. He got all the addresses of all these people's family members. And look, I want to go over there, I want to fly over there, and I want to get, and I want to warn them. And they gave him permission after a little bit. And I did love, it was actually kind of funny when he gets over there. We don't know this for a little bit, but the spy who was originally sent over there actually beat him over there by a little bit. They thought it would take him longer because they thought he was taking a certain path, but the Germans gave him a plane to get there faster. So he actually beat the British guy who thought he was going to beat him. I thought that was a little funny piece of dialogue thrown in there.
And it's interesting to me, like in general, that this film is considered a screwball comedy because there's so many layers to it. When I hear the term screwball comedy, I think something like Meatballs
Okay.
or Naked Gun.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily of actual really solid comedic writing and layered storytelling
But that
and long bits
but
that
that's what
last like.
that's
But
what Screwball is.
yeah, I know, but I think that the art of it has been lost over time.
I see. I have to wonder because when I watch Screwballs like this,
Hmm.
I go, have we devolved, or because I don't actually think human beings have devolved,
Yeah.
but have our sense of humor has just changed so much that a lot of people can't appreciate this on the
Yes.
wider scale that they could back in the 40s.
Yes, they must have, because the like I said last week, Balls Up exists, and it's the worst comedy that I have ever seen. And so yes, I think we've gotten dumber, and I don't think that this type of movie would necessarily like connect anymore.
Yeah,
Because this is, yes, it is a screwball comedy, but it's just the screenplay's tight, the acting is on point. I mean, there's nothing that is not well done about everything in this movie. I will say that just because of the age of the film, at least the cut that they are showing on HBO Max has some issues with clarity every once in a while on wide shots.
I
It's
think
like
that that's just
kind
a
of,
byproduct of how they
yeah,
shot that kind of stuff back in the day. I think because I
probably, yeah,
noticed it on the Blu-ray,
yeah,
certain wide shots were a little blurrier
yes,
than some of
yeah,
the close-up shots. And
yeah.
I
It's
just
just
wonder if
it's
that's the film stock or if it's
yeah.
actually just they don't have a good print for some of those wide
Well, that
shots.
does make me feel better that it was the same on the Blu-ray, because I was wondering if it was just an HBO Max issue, but it
Mm.
sounds like perhaps it's just the way it is with this film.
It's probably clearer on the Blu-ray just because it's a bigger
Oh yeah,
file.
probably,
But yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
probably looked a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, and there was one character that I recognized from being in Shop Around the Corner, like
Oh, okay,
the friend, Joseph Tura's friend, Greenberg,
okay.
Felix Bressert plays him. He's sort
Uh-huh.
of like the skinny guy, the taller, skinny guy with the
Is he
longer hair.
the is he the guy who gives the performance at the end?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. He always
And
wanted to have a serious
he
role.
always wanted to have a serious role, so he gives
Yeah.
like this real like big performance in the midst of chaos. He's giving like this monologue, and it's
The same monologue he's been kind of hinting at or saying little bits of throughout the film.
yeah, he was also in Shop Around the Corner, so that was cool for me to see him. But yeah, like you said, I mean, Carol Lombard, I think she's fantastic in this. I'm not the subplot of her having an affair on her husband or whatever. It's sort of, I guess, just back then that's what
It's
subplots like that would
it's in
be.
so many classic Hollywood movies.
It is like so many, especially in the 40s and 50s. You see that that subplot of the
Yeah.
wife having an affair with the much younger man or whatever. In
Yeah.
this case, the straight man, as I offended Jeremy by saying the straight man Robert Stack, who gosh, he is just that guy. I didn't realize that he had just been acting for so much of his life. I mean,
Mhm.
he growing up a 90s kid, obviously I had seen him in Airplane, but really he was the Unsolved Mysteries guy. He was on that television show. He was the host of the Unsolved Mysteries show. And so whenever I see an older film with him in it, it just kind of makes me want to dive into his filmography a bit more, because he's been in a ton of movies, and I don't want him, at least in my life, to be remembered as the unsolved mystery guy. I want to like go and watch more of his filmography.
Now, he's the guy in
yeah.
Airplane that comes onto the speaker and guides him,
Yes,
the main character into landing, right?
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
because that's a very
yeah,
I mean, it's almost the exact same character as in Zero Hour, the film that inspired
yeah.
Airplane, that they took lots of bits of the script for.
Right, exactly. And or like the more serious, like Airport 77 and all of that stuff. I mean, all those very serious films that came out. Yeah, I mean, and part of being the straight man in a screwball comedy is being a great comedian as well, knowing your timing,
Yes,
knowing, I mean,
and
it's
and
so,
it's understanding the straight man role.
yeah, I'm
Because
not disparaging him by saying that. I think that's great. I mean, he's perfect for that type of role.
here's sometimes straight men in comedy people who become actors that become kind of the straight men in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they can go and find themselves delving towards the absurd
Yeah. Yeah.
because they don't understand what is funny is them being deadpan.
And it's weird to say this, but De Niro actually is really good at that.
Yeah.
He's I'd never you don't necessarily think as De Niro as a good comedic actor, but he's great at the straight man role.
He is phenomenal in Midnight Run as being a very funny character.
Totally.
And almost all of it's deadpan.
Mm-hmm.
And him being a very serious character.
And the Meet the Parents stuff. I mean, he's good in those. Analyze this, analyze that. He's good in both of those analyze films or whatever. So yeah, I mean, he's good at being. He knows how to do it.
Well,
just kind of like Robert Stack did.
Yeah, he's got another Fokker movie coming.
Yes, a fourth one. Yes, a fourth Fokker. Who knew? But I guess it's good. It's 20 years later, so it's good. Might as well dive into this. But yeah, this really did make me want to see the Mel Brooks version because Mel Brooks is known for the screwball comedy.
Yes,
and so
he's I think playing the husband in that one, which makes sense.
I would imagine so. Yeah, the Jack Benny role. Yeah, he has to be. That's got to be the one that he plays. I didn't see. Was it who was the female lead in the Mel Brooks one?
I
can't.
Just went off.
Somebody massive, but I cannot remember her name off the top of my head. I could look it up real quick, but I don't want to necessarily do that. But
it's Anne Bancroft.
Yeah, Anne Bancroft. Yeah, she's from
The
Graduate.
The poster has Mel Brooks, and then it does looks like brackets around Anne Bancroft. It's not smaller, but it's just not as important. Obviously a joke. But
obviously a joke, yes, because that is a very important. She's almost the linchpin to the whole film. I mean, that character is the Maria Tora or whatever.
And Tim Matheson plays the lieutenant character.
Okay, and that makes sense too. I mean, he was kind of oddly in that heartthrob role around in the 80s when that came out. He was kind of an up and comer at the time, but that's cool. I was really thrilled to watch this. I still think that for me, it doesn't get like up into the upper echelon best comedies I've ever seen type situation, but I really did like a lot of aspects of the movie.
I love this. I'm an unabashed screwball comedy lover, although it has been a bit since I've seen one, and it's just enjoyable when you're kind of realizing how much you're laughing during the movie and actually laughing, not just or snorting a little bit. Yeah. Actually okay, that was funny. That was a good gag they set up here. They paid it off. I had a lot of fun with it, and like you said, it really makes me want to check out the remake because Mel Brooks is a funny guy.
And the more bad comedies I see, the more I'm convinced that comedies are actually the hardest thing to pull off well.
Oh, absolutely. Jack Benny's performance in this is probably underrated.
Oh, I think so. I think
because he's fantastic in this.
Yeah,
it's a comedy.
He's good. He's really good. They just made him better back then. I mean, they're I'm trying to remember the last really good screwball comedy that I saw that would be considered modern filmmaking, and it's maybe one of the Naked Gun films, and I'm sure I'm misremembering, and there's something out there that Peter Farrelly used to do it good, but he would take it to where he would use gross out gags, and yes, that still could fit into the screwball comedy category, but I mean, gross out gags to me kind of are an excuse because you don't have anything better to fill in a space or whatever, so you do a gross out gag.
Who could probably right now make a good screwball comedy if they would get over the whole split up thing? I think the Coens.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
the right script.
Raising Arizona, I would call that a screwball comedy, and that's a really well done one. So yeah, I bet they could. And really, what was Hail Caesar, I guess, could be considered a screwball comedy in a way.
Okay.
I mean, because there's some good Alden Ehrenreich has some really good scenes with Ralph Fiennes in that are very screwball-esque in nature, and And Channing Tatum can do screwball comedy pretty good, actually, now that I
Yeah.
think of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's still a chance, but I think that studios are just so afraid to put a comedy into theaters. They're just afraid that they're just
Yeah.
gonna bomb and not make any money, and so they all end up on streaming services.
Well, and
And
Hail Caesar was not a big hit.
it was not, no, but it's a good movie, but not a big hit. So anyways, I mean,
Yeah, that'll be my old man yells at cloud is the lack of theatrical comedy, and really the lack of some genres in general. I mean, I've seen some people like Sonny Bunch and a couple others complain about this specific point, but the lack of kids movies. I mean, kids movies come out, but
yeah,
not as often as you would think. So there are
no,
certain periods of the year where you're like, why are there no kids movies out right now?
yeah. During the
Just
summer, there should be a kids movie every week, like a
Yeah.
new one, like or maybe every other week to give it a time to breathe. Like there should be kids movies all summer long.
And
And there are some
practically are.
Yeah,
This
this
summer they practically are.
they're doing a good job. And yeah, I mean, they're Minions and Monsters, and there's quite a few coming out, I guess, this summer.
But also blockbusters like Spider-Man are for kids.
That's true.
Project Hail Mary is honestly a film you could take your kids to see.
Michael is a film that you could take your kids to see.
How what is it rated? Wasn't it?
It's
rated?
PG-13.
Okay.
And really, I think it's only PG-13 just because of the serious subject matter between Joe and Michael's relationship.
Walking out of it, I thought it might have been rated PG, but to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can't recall that there's any like heavy language. I mean,
yeah, but there is some violence, a little bit.
There's just some subject matter that maybe you don't want like a younger kid to see. But like I said, my older daughter went with us. She's 15. I mean, this was a PG-13 movie that I think 12 and up could probably see without, just because it's such a crowd pleaser. But
well, let's get
I guess
to
before we transition fully to it,
okay,
I have to do my last off the shelf of Arrow. We're finally This is going to end our Arrow video phase of my off the shelf picks. I'm sad to leave Arrow video. They've released some great stuff.
So quick question.
Yes.
If you buy a new Arrow movie that you haven't seen, does it get moved up to the front of the queue, or does it have to come at the end of the queue when you come back around to the A's?
So because I've been collecting for so long, I'm kind of in my phase of I don't buy too many things that I haven't seen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of phased out of that, unless it like is some really great sale that I can't turn away. But even on the Criterion 50% off sale, I'm usually just buying stuff that I've seen that I want to add to my collection.
I'd like to be able to say I do the same. But
yeah, well, I'm just in a different phase. Like I'm out of room, and so I have to be much more selective.
Not far.
Yeah, I'm much more selective in what I'm buying lately. I have not bought more. Like this year at this time, I've bought way less than I had last year. Like my collecting is slowing down. It's not ceasing by any means, but it's just like very curated now, where I'm only getting things. I'm upgrading when I want to upgrade, and only getting stuff that I've seen. So I can answer that question definitively in that I'm probably not going to buy an Arrow thing that I haven't seen. Okay. So this is really going to be the last Arrow.
I just bought an Arrow thing I haven't seen. I pre-ordered the Jackie Chan box set, so some of those films in there I haven't seen.
Well, there you go. Yeah, no, that's awesome. This one is directed by Peter Hyams, who directed some straight up classics in his career. He did 2010, First Contact, which according to Rhett is better than 2001. I don't know. A lot of people
I have a controversial opinion about 2001, but I don't want to upset our listeners.
We don't need to upset anybody. He directed The Presidio, which is a good Sean Connery movie. So in honor of a good Sean Connery movie, I don't know if this is going to be good. I've never seen it, but we're going to be watching Outland. It's a sci-fi film with Sean Connery from the 80s, I believe. Yeah, like 1980. Let me double check that though. I think it is the 80s. Outland. Let me pull Outland up. Let's talk about Outland for a little bit. 1981. I was right. So interesting premise here. A federal marshal newly stationed at a mining colony on the Jupiter moon of Lowe notices a series of unusual deaths. Against the advice of everyone, he digs deeper to find the cause and finds himself marked for death. Other names you'll recognize that are in this. Peter Boyle is a name you'll probably recognize. John Ratzenberg has a small role in this.
I recognize that.
And that's about it. Angus McGinnis has been in some things. He's a Star Wars guy, I think. I recognize that name from the Star Wars cast. So this is also written by Peter Hyams. So this is cool. I'm glad to watch. There's a lot of his that I haven't seen. The reason I know Peter Hyams more than most people is because he's directed Jean-Claude Van Damme in two of my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme films, that being Sudden Death, which is basically like Die Hard in a hockey rink. So that's always a fun one. And then Time Cop, which is another one. So those are two Peter Hyams movies that he directed. So yeah, I'm excited about
Double Impact.
This. What now?
He didn't do Double Impact.
No, he did not do Double Impact. There's a more recent. My Jean-Claude Van Damme is like 1990s only. I didn't really continue to follow his career into the 2000s, but late in the Peter Hyams, I think the last film that Peter Hyams directed is a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, which I have not watched. I have not watched that very last Peter Hyams film with Jean-Claude. 90s only for me with the Jean-Claude. But anyways, yeah, this is Sean Connery, 1981. So this is, gosh, you're talking about, he's done with Bond almost. He still has Never Say Never Again, which is not an Eon film. That is not in Bond canon. So he's almost done with Bond around this time, because I think Never Say Never Again was 1983, if I'm not mistaken. So I love Sean Connery. He's like one of my top 5 actors of all time, probably. I mean, just because of Bond, and then he has done some classics in his career. Obviously, The Untouchables comes to mind. But so I'm excited. This is a film of his I have not seen, and it's sci-fi. I love sci-fi, so I expect this to be better than the other sci-fi film that I made us watch, which was an Arrow video that I had not seen. It's purged from my mind. It was so bad.
I saw someone point out the other day that Sean Connery, when Dr. No was released, when it was released, he was 32. When he shot it, he was 31.
Okay.
Not far off from the current ages of Tom Holland and Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
And look at those, the differences.
Yeah.
I mean, just
people lived harder back then.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's wow.
And I think he already was having to if I'm not mistaken, he was already having to have a hairpiece.
Yeah, he was. Dr. he had a toupee on in Dr.
Yeah,
No.
because he was already bald. So not that has necessarily. I mean, genetics, you can't fight that. Yeah. But people did live a lot harder back then. Bond. I'm so nervous about. I don't want to get down a rabbit trail of talking about Bond, but I'm just really. I'm super excited that Denis is directing it, but I'm so nervous about who they're going to cast as Bond. It's just there's so many like soy boy actors that they could pick from right now.
There are not enough people living hard right now, Mike.
There's not enough. Exactly. See, that's the thing that I liked about Daniel Craig. He looked like he's lived a hard life when he was cast as Bond, and now we're going to get some like.
And then every time he played Bond, he had a hard life because
we're going to get some
got
like
injured like constantly.
Clavicular looking dude playing Bond, and I do not want that. I want somebody that looks like they've lived a hard life playing Bond.
Please no.
I know.
Maybe we'll get a Bond that smashes his bones with a hammer. You know.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that. So yeah, we'll do Outland, and then we will move on to some obscure labels. Before getting to my Criterion shelf. I'm very excited about getting to my Criterion shelf.
Yeah, we might have some overlap there.
I've got some weird stuff on Laserdisc that is Criterion that I haven't seen.
Okay.
So, I'm excited.
Well, speaking of modifying your body, let's talk about Michael.
Oh gosh, yes, that's a good segue. Good segue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I prefaced before that my fandom for Michael Jackson comes mostly from the periphery of post success and even post life. He died when I was in middle school, in between 7th and 8th grade. I looked that up just to kind of confirm, and or 6th and 7th grade, actually, I think it was. But either way, he died when I was fairly young, and he was already kind of out of the zeitgeist in terms of how popular he was in the 80s/90s versus how popular he was in the early to late 2000s when I kind of have memory of growing up. Obviously, there were the allegations that were around when I was a kid, and people were making fun of him constantly for that kind of thing, both kids and adults on television and in real life. But seeing the actual prime years in this film was what I mean. Look, I found myself tapping my foot at times to the beat, and
it's impossible not to.
It's almost a concert film, really. I said this in the Discord that this is like, it's fantastic spectacle. First off, Jafar Jackson is going to get snubbed because he gives a fantastic performance as Michael Jackson. There are times where I had to kind of remind myself that's not Michael Jackson on the screen. He doesn't look 100% like him, but his mannerisms and the dancing and
Jafar did, like, there was some stuff, especially the concert footage stuff.
Yeah,
he nailed Michael Jackson. I mean, if this is Jafar's only role in his whole life, it's worthy of saying that he should be nominated for an Academy Award because he just got it so right.
Yeah.
I for one think that we are going to get a part 2.
Yeah.
Because this is
I'm
going
not
to
excited about part 2.
I don't know that I'm excited about part 2, but they will be leaving so much money on the table if they don't do a part 2.
Yeah.
But I thought that this was almost a two-hander in the sense that this was a story about Michael and Joe.
Yes.
And their relationship throughout. And I am a Michael Jackson fan, but did not know the whole story of how long he stayed with the Jackson 5.
That surprised me. I didn't realize he was making solo albums and still being forced to go on tour with the Jackson.
I did not realize that had gone beyond the Thriller album. Like I thought that was probably so I didn't recall this whole final tour thing and the big dramatic moment that is portrayed where he finally says, "This is it. I'm going solo," or whatever.
Someone posted the video from
I watched that the other day.
And I was like, wow, I think I might have forwarded that to you too.
Maybe it was you that forwarded. I loved that.
And I was like, wow. I mean, that's like straight what they do in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, obviously they had the footage, but it was just kind of like, oh wow, that's a real moment that happened on stage. And I'm sure Joe was behind the stage, kind of like, what?
Yeah. I do want to shout out a couple of the below the line guys. You have this written, the screenplay is written by John Logan, who's actually a Scorsese guy. He did Aviator and he did Hugo.
Okay.
He did Gladiator. So he's been nominated for some Oscars. So really accomplished writer in Hollywood. I thought that, in all honesty, maybe the weakest thing about the movie though is the screenplay.
Well, and I think part of that's, so we can get into the original screenplay. Part of that's the original screenplay and it being chopped up due to legalities. They had so if we can get into it, they had an original script which opened with him in 1993 being accused of molesting a kid.
Yeah.
He's staring at himself in the mirror. There are red and blue lights flashing in the background. Then you cut to the past and we go through his childhood on up to the third act was going to address the 1990 accuser. Now, apparently they legally have it in the contract with the family where the accuser does not want to be put on film, which I think, bravo to the accuser. That's the smartest thing he could have done because they were going to use this film to try to exonerate Michael. And that I would not have cared for personally. I don't want to have you relitigate everything. Look, he got off already, so that's one thing.
Yeah, he's never been to court.
That win,
yeah. I mean,
quote unquote.
Yeah.
Obviously his public perception has been tanked since then, but in a sense, but yeah, I'm very glad with the film we wound up with. It is shallow in terms of the story that it's telling overall. The script is not the best,
right,
but they recut it into basically the greatest hits movie instead of oh, Michael really didn't molest those kids. They were just coming at him for money. And I don't know, but I'd rather not have a movie that's backed by the family saying that.
Yeah, and I gotta we almost have to shout out the cinematographer as well, Dion Beebe, who won an Oscar for Memoirs of a Geisha. He's done a ton of other films, very accomplished cinematographer. The concert stuff just looks so good. Like
Yes.
everything about it really put you, even like, so specifically, like, I got kind of emotional during the Human Nature part, the concert footage when he was doing Human Nature, just because what they did so well, they almost, like you said, turned it into that we're watching a concert film, because they did a really good job of filming the crowd
Yeah.
and how like emotional. And I would like to believe that those people were probably getting authentically emotional, even though those are extras, obviously, that it just happened to be there for the setup of this. But if you know anything about how being an extra is in a film, those people were probably there for hours.
Yeah.
Of reshoots and like shooting that same song over and over and over again. And so they all seemed really into it, like into the whole thing. And so great job for the extras in this movie. And I just think it is shot. Dion hasn't necessarily done anything of note, lately in his career. He's been around a long time, but like I said, he won the Oscar for Memoirs of a Geisha, and he did a good job shooting this movie. I mean, I think it looked great. Antoine Fuqua, despite the rumors that were abounded, it seems like he came back for the reshoots.
It's interesting because the reports I've read have said that he was on set, but there are also reports that are from Anton's team that say he does direct from the van and does it often on a lot of sets.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because I heard the same thing about a lot of Favreau. The way he likes to shoot sometimes is from home
there's some
on an
guys
iPad.
that like to be in the video village, basically.
Right. Like he just has an iPad. Like Favreau sometimes will just have somebody walking around with an iPad while he's back at the house and tell people. Like I've seen rumor about that with Favreau as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't necessarily want to make a huge deal about the Fuqua thing, because that's a tough thing for a director to have put a film to bed, basically, and to have to come back.
He got paid $5 million for reshoots. I think he did. Sure. I think he supervised the reshoots.
I think he, at the very least, he supervised. If it was from a van or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
the guy was part of the reshoots. It's fine. I think for me, the most, besides Jafar, Coleman Domingo's amazing in this.
Yes.
It borders on it could have gone cartoonish, but because Coleman is so good, he makes it work. Like he is a great antagonist to Michael's protagonist character.
And I've met kind of guys like that, sleazy guys who, they're just trying to make a buck on whatever they can make it on. And in this case, he's got a bunch of sons he's trying to basically pimp out for music. And Michael specifically blows up the most, and that kind of annoys him because it's solo. And but he does a fantastic job, and the makeup on him is interesting, the giant eyebrows and everything.
Like it's tough. I mean, because there is like some of that where you're just like, this is a very cartoonish looking person, but Coleman does not let it get to that point with his performance. Like he doesn't let it get to a cartoonish point. He is a professional and does a great job. Like he takes it very seriously. I think the one role that puzzled me a bit was Miles Teller's role. Like he barely was in the movie, and I'm just like, maybe the guy was just a huge Michael Jackson fan and wanted to be in the movie. I mean,
seemed like a really important role in Michael Jackson's life.
Right.
But it also seemed like he did a lot of his stuff off screen and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So he never really was all that important in the film. He was important for obviously getting things done and helping Michael blow up even more. But yeah, I mean, you were just kind of like, hey, he's got the hospital scene where he comes in and has a moment with Michael. And he's got the CBS scene where he comes in and gets a meeting with them at the CBS exec's office where they're trying to get him on MTV, which I, as a huge Cheap Trick fan, hearing the words Cheap Trick, I was like, hey, they mentioned him. So that was great.
I do want to shout out the guy that played the bodyguard too. Kaylin Darrell Jones is the actor's name. I had never seen this guy before, or if I had, I mean, he's got a very distinct look. So I think I maybe saw him on some television show at some point, but I thought he did a great job. He was also kind of a protagonist as well in this. I mean, he finally gets that payoff moment later in the film in an interaction between him and Joe. So, and this is very new. It's like you can't really spoil Michael Jackson's story, at least the way that they've done it here. It does in moments feel a bit soulless, like they're just kind of painting by numbers with some of this stuff.
I don't know if I'm not going to judge soullessness, but I will say I thought it was abrupt at times. Because I mean they would have a moment breathe. And then all of a sudden we're like skipping forward a couple of years and it's like
they don't let things breathe. The little kid that played younger Michael Jackson, he was great. He was great.
He was phenomenal, and he's not in the film a ton. He's in the film more than I thought, but he's not in the film as much as Jafar, obviously.
Yeah, Giuliano Valdi is that kid's name. Shout out to him because he was great.
The kid, though, the interesting thing was, like, we started out in 1966. He looked one way, and then we go to 68, and he looks the exact same. I'm like, okay. Then we go to, like, 70-something, and he still looks the same. And I'm like, all right. Should we have hired an in-between actor here?
Or something. And
maybe. Then we get to Jafar, and all of a sudden he's, like, Michael Jackson as we know him. I did like seeing Quincy Jones in the movie.
Lorenz Tate played Quincy, I think.
I thought he was pretty good, but he's not in there a ton.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the side characters outside of the Jackson family and the bodyguard, maybe the side characters really aren't in it much.
Not even the Jackson. It's literally Michael, Joe, and the mom, because the brothers and the sisters don't really matter all that much.
Janet didn't even allow herself to be in the, like she requested not to be in the movie at all.
Just Latoya and
it's just brothers. Latoya. Yeah, which Janet was younger anyways. I think she was the youngest child. And so she wouldn't have come around until probably the 80s at some point, which they sort of zip through all of this. I mean, just because they're trying to get it done in a little over 2 hours, which I do appreciate that. Don't drag it out to like 2 hours and 30 minutes. That would have felt too long, because then you're just doing performance after performance.
I will say I would almost rather this have been a mini series where you show the dramatic parts of the life, a little bit of concert.
Yeah, like on,
there's just so much story we're skipping over.
Well, I mean,
feels like it.
I think that the choice was that they weren't going to portray Michael in any way that would, because the estate was involved. Obviously, they weren't going to portray him in any way that would lead people down a path of being uncomfortable with the story that they were telling.
I started to get uncomfortable when he would mention Neverland again.
There was a lot of Peter Pan stuff, a lot of references to Neverland. I mean, there's definitely like things there that,
but I mean, it is probably authentically a part of his life. Obviously, I mean, he wouldn't have created Neverland Ranch if he wasn't obsessed with that story.
He had a bit of Arrested Development type situation. I mean, it was just kind of that way in his life, just because he was allowed to be that way.
And I also don't think he really had much of a real childhood based on what we.
I mean, they did a good job of showing that he had no friends. Really, even when he would try, because he was much younger than his brothers, even when he would try and have interactions with his brothers, they were kind of like so much older than him. They had moved on to parts of their life that, he just wasn't a part of.
He buys the toys and
I mean, now some of those he was buying for, and that's one thing that they showed, which is very true, that he was always at children's hospitals and always very generous with giving toys and stuff to kids. And he gave all that money to that burn unit or whatever after the incident on the Pepsi commercial.
I'm not super familiar with every aspect of Michael's life. I didn't realize he had all those animals.
He was very into animals. Yeah, he had Bubbles.
Bubbles,
yeah.
the monkey, and the giraffe that kept
not bad
appearing.
CG, by the way. Not bad. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it was a CG monkey, but still pretty good. I mean,
no, I agree.
I thought it was a good.
I saw it and I went, that's CGI, but then but I mean, it wasn't bad CGI, like you said.
No, it wasn't bad at all. But really, I mean, you'll just be blown away when you go see this, despite all of the things that you'll probably feel like they stayed away from in telling Michael's story. You'll be so blown away by just the concert footage and the video footage and stuff like that, that it's just it's just a fun experience in the theater.
I was surprised they went down the nose job stuff route.
Right. You almost can't avoid it.
Yeah. And they even set it up with him being called Fat Nose or whatever with his dad.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, later in his life, he goes and gets nose surgery. And then you notice later on, he gets clearly another piece of nose surgery.
No, he continues
nose
that
on his tape. And obviously in real life, he
continues that for his whole life. If they do a part 2, I don't know that they'll continue showing surgery stuff, but I mean,
there is footage, or there are photos I saw today of him filming at Neverland Ranch, the original third act, and the nose obviously looks worse there.
Wow.
So, and it's got him a lot whiter skin, because of the vitiligo or whatever it's called.
Yeah, zero chance Lionsgate leaves money on the table. They will make a second film. Now, I don't know, like you said, I don't know if Antoine Fuqua will be the director of it, but he filmed a lot of it already, though. So
yeah, they've said they filmed a decent chunk of it already.
So if I don't know if they pay the guy enough money.
Can't
I'm sure.
Touch on the 90s accusations. They can touch on the 2000s ones.
We'll see.
But I just don't want to watch a movie about the accusations. Like not touched with the estate going, oh, he's really innocent. I just, I don't want to see that.
Because that's all that they would do. I mean, that's the only danger of them doing a part 2 is because the estate will try and make it that he was completely absolved of all of it and exonerated and it was all.
Look, at the end of the day, here's the thing. When you're a very famous guy, even if you did nothing, you put yourself in situations that you should never have put yourself in.
Yeah.
And you probably put yourself in those situations because you thought you were, you're the biggest guy in the world and it's whatever. But if you don't want people to think certain things about you, don't put yourself in those stupid situations.
Exactly right.
I'll say this. I'm someone who could both enjoy this movie and then afterwards enjoy all the Norm Macdonald bits on
totally
SNL
100%
about Michael Jackson.
I'm totally with you. Yeah. This is a movie for fans of his music to go enjoy themselves at a theater, listening to it's like people that went and saw the Eras Tour concert film. I mean, there was people in my screening that had Michael Jackson t-shirts on. There was one lady that even had the glove on. I mean, they're fans, huge fans that have been waiting for this style of movie for a very long time. Of course, there are people that do want them to address the accusations, and it's just never going to be authentically done, though, when the estate is involved. And the only way that you're going to ever get a Michael Jackson movie is with the permission of the estate. So, you put 2 and 2 together, people. I mean, it's not they're not going to let the expose Michael Jackson movie exist as much as you may want it. I mean, it's not going to happen. So
not even everyone was happy with this film. Apparently, Diana Ross had a big role in this film and asked to be cut.
Yeah.
So she didn't like the way they portrayed her.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, the actress that portrayed her, I think there was some blurb about her today that she was bummed that her performance got cut. So, and like I mentioned, Janet Jackson didn't even want to be in the movie at all. I don't even think there's like a picture of her anywhere in the movie. I mean, there is like zero mention. And apparently, like, Janet and Michael did have a pretty close relationship. I mean, I know that they worked together musically.
She didn't like the way the family was portrayed, was what they said.
Didn't like the way, right? And the same with the daughter, Michael Jackson's daughter. in real life did some Instagram thing where she was like, "Look, I know you expect me to go crazy about it. I'm just like, this is milk toast. I mean, this is just, you're just going to have fun."
But
But
that's unfortunately that's every biopic.
Yeah,
Almost all
about
of them don't touch on the look. Oppenheimer's an exception where they
right.
really delve into like, this guy is not a perfect man.
I think I think Rocket Man did some stuff that was interesting. I think it was Taron Egerton.
I haven't seen that one.
They did that's a worthwhile. I like Rocket Man better than I do Bohemian Rhapsody. And they definitely go into Elton John's drug issues and stuff. I mean, they don't shy away from it. So
and that kind of thing can that kind of thing, a guy who's gotten past his drug issues to an extent. I mean, obviously you're always an addict or whatever, as they say. But I could see someone being involved.
They can turn it into a redemption story type situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas child molestation is tough to.
It's a different level. You're right. You're exactly right. So, I mean, I think in the end, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd as far as their rating system is concerned. I had a great time with the movie, despite it feeling a bit soulless from time to time, just because Jafar's performance.
Yeah.
It's just baffling. Like, it's just like he's channeling his uncle in this weird way that is pretty magnetic on screen. But anyways,
and he was great in that Crip and Blood scene where they were doing the dancing.
Yeah,
and he brings out the jacket.
Yeah,
and I was just like, man, he's got it. I mean, he's not copying Michael Jackson. He looks like he's doing the moves. And I know he talked about that in an interview the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, it really looks like he's just naturally doing it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference between someone who's just mimicking Michael Jackson.
Totally. Yeah. And I don't know that there is anybody else on the planet that could have performed it in the way that Jafar did. Like, there's no actor off the top of my head that I could think of that could, like, it would have to have been an unknown. They couldn't just like pluck some super famous actor. Here, you're going to be Michael Jackson. I mean, and Jafar, in a way, is kind of unknown. I don't think he has any credits other than this. I mean, he may have done some commercials or maybe some television, but
I kind of hope he goes out and does other things. Like
I do too, but
like Ice Cube's son did.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true. I do too, but I don't know that. I just don't know that there'd be anything else that could top this performance.
He's committed. So I'm sure he's committed a lot of time to.
Oh gosh, his whole life maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe he'd been training for this his whole life. But
this is Jermaine's son, or
I think so.
Jackson 5.
I believe so. Yeah. But look, I highly recommend going to see it. I mean, there's a lot of chatter around the movie,
because they chose to do so much concert stuff.
Yeah,
it is worth seeing in the theater because the sound design is fantastic.
Yeah, don't. It's one of those situations where the critics. I don't think the critics are being unfair with what they're rating the movie, because
I agree.
There are some issues with the film from just I don't know, just a standpoint of making a good biopic. But
I'm not saying you can't be a critic this way. My only issue is when I see a pull quote that says like, "Oh, they didn't touch on this," and it's like, well, okay, but
then you're not criticizing the film. You're not criticizing the film then.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge a film on what it isn't. I'm going to judge a film on what it is.
That's not fair to do that. And so I agree with you on that specific thing, but I don't think I think actual real top-notch critics aren't doing that type of thing.
There are just a few out there that I saw that I was like, well, okay, I don't really care about that. I mean, I do care, but I don't, if the movie didn't address it, then that's not a part of the movie. So,
well, I mean, our focus for next week, I mean, it kind of has to be Devil Wears Prada 2, right? I mean,
I guess I have to watch Devil Wears Prada 1.
Yeah, you do. I've got the slip cover that has
Deadpool,
and it's the big shoe, and he's like touching this. It's a really funny slip cover that they did a couple of years ago when they were doing that thing at Walmart where they're releasing all of the slip covers with Deadpool on them. I mean, it's pretty funny. So I think it was like one of the last ones actually, because it was after What year did Disney buy Fox?
19.
Oh, that was 2019.
Yeah.
So I think that this was the very last one then.
I think discussions happened late 2018, but the actual purchase happened in 2019.
Yeah. So it was great. It's a great slipcover. So yeah, I do need to rewatch it. I've only seen the first one time, so I probably need to rewatch that in preparation for the sequel. Which, look, I think it's going to make bank. I mean, it's tracking well.
It could be a bigger opening, and this Michael right now, as we talk, is on track for 95. I don't know what it will actually be as of Monday.
I think it's going to hit 100.
It could possibly. The walk-ups have been really good.
I think that tomorrow there's going to be a lot based on word of mouth. I think this thing is going to have a lot of walk-ups on Sunday and push it over 100.
The best thing this film did for itself was to just be a fun concert film.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to pull in more fans. That's going to pull in more money than a drama.
And it has great rewatchability because of that. And so you're going to get people that maybe went and saw it on Thursday going to see it again on Sunday. I mean, because it just has, you're just going to have a good time. Despite everything, you're going to have a good time when you go see the movie. So
no, I totally agree.
Yep.
Where can people find you online, Mikey?
Yes, I am on X at the Michael Nip, and then I'm also on Letterboxd. If you just look up my name, you'll find me on there. And I spend most of my time, though, in the CDP Discord, which I will let Garrison tell you more about.
You can find me at GRyfun3, GRYFUN3 on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfun, GRYFUN. You can find us, Cinema Debrief, on Twitter and Instagram. You can also email us at cinemadebriefpod@gmail.com for access to our Discord, which has many, many channels, many people, several different podcasts on it. But also, if you want to find out my controversial opinion about 2001, you can ask me on there, whether you're already a part of it or joining by emailing us at cinemadebriefpod@gmail.com. I think that's been it for this week. We'll see you guys next week for Outland and Devil Wears Prada 2.